Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. Tonight we've got the president of the Vicksburg Blues Society, Miss Shirley Waring. She's right here, and come on out, Shirley.
Hey.
And hello, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
So nice to be here.
Now we're going to talk about some of the artists that play at the Ameristar with your ongoing performance.
The Heritage Music Series.
And we were going to meet a couple of the performers via their performance at the IBC at the International Blues Awards recently.
Challenge.
And that's Mr. Sip and also
Eddie Cotton.
Eddie Cotton. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thanks for being with us. And we'll be right back after this.
Yes.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. We've got Shirley Waring with us. Shirley, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Edward.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You are doing great things in Vicksburg. You're the president of the Vicksburg Blues Society, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us, what does the Vicksburg Blues Society do? What are you guys all about?
Well, it's an organization that is, our mission is to preserve and promote and present the blues. And in Mississippi, this being the birthplace of America's music, we embrace the authentic, the art form that is treasured and loved throughout the world, and it's the real blues. It's what I look for, and what I explain. There's so many genres within blues, but we have a specific area that we like to find and identify as Delta blues, Chicago blues.
You know, when we were growing up, and we were part of the onslaught of the British rock and roll groups, you know, back in those days.
Right.
You know, at that time, of course, the young folks didn't know, but that was all American music that was being brought back to America by these chaps from England. They were mimicking the blues guys that were already here.
Well, you know, one of the most amazing things that I've seen was in London. It was Willie Dixon on stage with Hubert Sumlin and Howlin' Wolf in London. And you wouldn't believe the reaction. And it was back in the 60s, I think, that they were all in tuxedos, and the audience was very sophisticated. So, you know, you're right. I mean, back then, and Willie Dixon is from Vicksburg. He is the poet laureate of the blues, considered. He wrote over 500 songs, and they have been recorded by just anybody you can imagine.
Now, speaking to that issue about the recordings that these guys did in many years ago, and through the years, there's a lot of controversy. I mean, maybe you can speak to that. For example, like Little Richard has spoken about the fact that, you know, he recorded all of these records and all of these original songs, and yet it was pretty sketchy as far as how he got paid through the years. Have you heard these stories? Yes,
and you know, that's one of the things that BMI and ASCAP, that is to protect the artist when they write a song. Willie Dixon was with Chess Records for many years as a producer, as a performer. He wrote arrangements for like Little Walter and Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. They all recorded his music, and then occasionally he would record it. And you know, he didn't end up a hugely successful financially until things came around. But I think now that there are things in place to protect the writers and the performers and the people that that when they put out music, they want to make sure that they get paid, which is only fair.
Like
this
the
is
publishing,
their life.
the
Yes.
publishing rights,
Right.
and that's what
Right.
it seems to be where that
Yes.
was what would go
Right.
askew.
There was some tricky-dicky going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, it seems like things are a little more quantifiable
Right.
in this new age that we're in right now.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
and speaking of the new age, I mean, the distribution methodology of the music business has changed. In the old days, you had to go through the record label, and of course now you can almost self-distribute, right?
Right,
Via
and
internet.
that is one method. You can record, you can get it mastered, you can get your own CDs pressed. But now, if you have an affiliation with a label or a record company, like Malaco, several of the artists that I work with are under contract with Malaco. Some various labels. Grady Champion has his own label now.
And it does help if you are with a label.
Yes.
Because they've got the
Well,
firepower to do
so
some special
so
things.
much of the success of music has to do with the commercial aspect of it. I'm in love with the performances and how authentic and how they make me feel in person. But for it to really pay off, when these and I'm going to tell you about my series that I've produced. But when we have the musicians on stage, when they're on break, they've got to have merchandise. That helps pay for their trip, or if they've traveled a long distance, you know, they've got to have something to sell, and the commercial aspect of it. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal to be affiliated with somebody that can do distribution for you.
So the series that you produce, and you've been working on this for quite a while now, tell us about that.
It started years ago. We were at the Vicksburg in the ballroom there, the old choral room. Oh, I have such wonderful memories of all that. There was a theater group that did plays, community theater, and when they weren't using the room, I approached the guys about it and I said, let's start doing some music in here. And so we launched a music series, and it was the Heritage Music Series, and it includes gospel, storytelling, blues, jazz. Our program of work, we honor the important people that were in music from Vicksburg, and so we have annual events to honor these people. But the anchor signature event of our program right now is a Friday night and Saturday night every weekend at Ameristar. We have the Heritage Music Series, and we spotlight and showcase blues music.
And so some of the artists that you have, just tell us who they
Oh,
are.
yeah. I mean, we're absolutely setting the world on fire because the last 2 years we have taken our entry into the International Blues Challenge in Memphis and won. And let me tell you how that works. We do a regional challenge, which if you have a connection to Mississippi and you want to enter our challenge and you get chosen, you compete against whatever the local competition is or the regional competition, and you win that. We have a panel of judges, and we conduct it just like it's a scoring criteria just like they use in Memphis at the International Blues Challenge. So we identify this group, we get them as a solo duo act and a band act, and we take them to Memphis. And that's what happened the last 2 years in Memphis. We have won the International Blues Challenge. This has brought fabulous attention in the international tourism market to Vicksburg because my real job, I have a real job, is commercial development, and my specialty is cultural heritage tourism. So these things, to have entertainment of that quality in Vicksburg is a real demand generator, and it helps us build Vicksburg as a destination.
Cultural heritage
Tourism.
Tourism.
Yes.
Explain that.
It has to do with, it could be music, it's art. Like I brokered a gallery in Vicksburg for H.C. Porter. She has a magnificent collection of, it's called Blues at Home, and she has photographed living blues musicians and done it on her treatment, you know. But it's cultural heritage tourism embraces food, music, art, storytelling. It could be looking at a significant, like where the Mississippi Blues Trail, that embraces part of it. Mm-hmm. So we have travelers. The Mississippi Blues Trail was developed by the Mississippi Development Authority, and it brings a lot of visitors to Mississippi, but it's throughout the world now. But there's even a marker in Paris now for the Mississippi Blues Trail. They're in Memphis, they're in Chicago. I'm campaigning to get one in LA for a lady that was from Vicksburg that had the most successful and the longevity of a blues club on the West Coast for like 50 years. Her name was Mama Laura Gross, and she operated this blues club, and I've had it was near Studio City, And the guys that were sessions musicians out there, they were all from Mississippi, and they were all working out there. And they said on Monday nights, everybody from the studio would just be wrapped around this building, waiting to go in and get some fried chicken and collard greens and listen to blues.
Now you've had the last 2 years winners coming out of the Vicksburg Blues Society event have won the International Blues Competition in Memphis, which is a big deal because people from all over the world are come to that. Tell us about those two artists.
Okay. In 2014, Mr. Sipp, the Mississippi Blues Child, he's from Macomb, Mississippi. He went up there and represented us and won the International Blues Challenge.
And he's been on our show before, so we've got some performance clips of him. And he went up there and performed and won the international competition.
Yes. Now he actually got into the finals in 2013. And he won again our regional challenge and went back up there to compete again in 2014 and won. But when we walked in the door in 2014, they said, you know, he better win this year. So, and Mr. Sipp, oh my gosh, his stage presence is like no other. He is genuinely, he's a producer, he is a performer, he's an entertainer, he writes. So he writes original music that follows this pattern that I'm telling you about, this traditional blues structure, 12-bar, 1-4-5, so that the musical structure is he's influenced heavily by that, and he's very moved. We'll be listening to music, and he'll say, "That's the blues, that's the blues."
And the 2015 winner.
Yeah, we just got back in January. We went back up there and won the thing again with Eddie Cotton.
With Eddie Cotton.
And you talk about a sensational performance, both of these guys. The International Blues Challenge attracts like 10,000 fans. It's over 5 days, and they compete against like 860 musicians. There are more than 250 acts. So to say that you won this thing is very significant.
It's a really big deal.
It is a big deal.
So when we go to the break, we'll be coming back and we'll see some of these performances from Eddie Cotton and from Mr. Sipp.
Mr. Sipp.
So good. So stay with us. We're going to be right back after this.
I'm Dr. Quinn, and I believe in the power of exercise. Many patients ask me if they're going to get high blood pressure or diabetes because their parents had these conditions. I tell them that we cannot control our genetics, but we can control our diet and level of exercise. Practicing healthy decisions result in a better outcome. I'm Dr. Quinn, and I want you to remember that you have control.
Well, we're talking to Shirley Waring, and Shirley, you're the president of the Vicksburg Blues Society.
Go ahead and make it Mississippi. No.
We had Malcolm Shepard on recently from Central Mississippi.
That's right.
Blues Society. So
great guy.
Yeah, and so now the Mr. Sipp and Eddie Cotton performances won the 2014 and 2015 International Blues Competition in Memphis.
Yes.
And these are people that are regularly performing at your event that you have at Ameristar, right?
Right, right.
And who are some of the others?
King Edward, Grady Champion. We have groups that we bring in from, Nika Chambers is coming up. I'm trying to think of give me a minute.
So it seems like we've got a whole lot of great talent right here in the central area of the state. I mean, everybody knows that, but that is true, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And these are just a few of many.
The part of the Heritage Music Series that we have at Ameristar, we try to focus on Mississippi talent. Now, it's not that we won't bring in somebody from Memphis or from New Orleans. Regionally, what we promote is the Highway 61 from New Orleans up to Chicago, because that was the Chitlin circuit.
From New Orleans to
Yeah.
Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how connected we are with Chicago when it comes to blues, right?
Right,
Because everybody
right.
that went up there
Yeah.
that performed came from here.
So our anchor performers in this series would be Mr. Sip, the Mississippi Blues Child, Eddie Cotton, Grady Champion, King Edward, and then there are other acts that get included.
And most of those folks have been on this show before, and they sort of
Yeah.
represent a new generation in blues, right? A younger generation.
Right. I would say that this is the new generation. Of course, King Edward is one of the statesmen.
originals.
Yeah,
Right.
He likes to call himself the legendary King Edward.
Right.
He's wonderful.
We had him on the other day, and I didn't know, but he explained that he's from Louisiana originally.
Right.
And he kind of
speaks
grew
French.
Up, he
He
speaks
speaks-
French,
yeah.
and he grew up in around Zydeco music.
Right, yeah.
Clifton Chenier was I think his cousin.
Yeah.
Which is the famous Zydeco guy.
Right.
So set up this clip. We're going to look at the performance of Mr. Sip when he won the international blues competition. What is
Okay.
this about?
This is at the Orpheum Theater in Memphis. This was the final. This is the final round. This would be Saturday. This is after he had gone through the competition Wednesday, Thursday, advanced to the semifinals on Friday, and then the finals on Saturday. So he was up against, that day there were, it was a combination of solo duo acts and band acts. There were 18 in competition, and half and half solo duo and half band acts. And so, but he was absolutely sensational. He has such great stage presence. I mean, the audience just went crazy over him.
Okay, let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen from the Vicksburg Blues Society, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Sip. I said, jump the broom.
That's what won the International Blues Challenge in 2014 for the Vicksburg Blues Society.
So,
Mr. Sip.
So Mr. Sip is a regular there with you in Ameristar.
Yes, yes.
Now, the person from 2015, the winner, Eddie Cotton.
Eddie Cotton.
Tell us about this performance.
He is from Clinton, Mississippi. Same thing. He has a church background. He manages. He's the music director at his father's church, and Mr. Sip has a strong gospel background. I mean, absolutely, he was professional in gospel music. Well, Eddie is a classic blues, electric blues guitarist, and when he studied under King Edward, he studied under Dr. London Branch. So his performances are so heartfelt. I mean, he absolutely, when I ask him the difference, you can have 3 bands or 10 bands play the same song and you don't get the same thing. When Eddie Cotton plays it, I'm telling you, it is from somewhere deep inside him. And he does one song that that little Milton sang. It's called The Back Streets, Walking the Back Streets. And he said one day that he left the stage and he was in the green room, and the Milton came back there and said, "I'm going home and practicing." It was his song. But I mean, he's such he puts so much emotion and depth into his performance. I think you'd really enjoy seeing him perform.
And this is the clip of him winning.
Yes, this is at the International Blues Challenge in 2015, January 2015, when Eddie Cotton represented the Vicksburg Blues Society and went to the Orpheum Theater, and this is his performance.
Okay, let's take a look.
I haven't seen you for so long. Just because you had a dime at the cafe, you think you got it going on. Don't do me no favors, yeah. I don't need no woman feeling sorry for me, yeah. I'm a long way from lonely. Anyway, the window is cool with me. Can I play the blues one time?
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
So that was Eddie Cotton.
Eddie Cotton.
So Vicksburg has produced, through this series that you're promoting there, has produced the last 2 International Blues Challenge winners in America.
Absolutely. Eddie Cotton's the winner and the champion this year, when we had Mr. Sip in 2014.
And so
I want to
Ameristar,
mention,
right?
At Ameristar.
At Ameristar.
Yeah. And just out of courtesy and to remember this, the Indianola Blues Society had Grady Champion win in 2010. That was the first time Mississippi had won.
I see. Now, the website for more information about what you're doing is vicksburgblues.net, and the Facebook page is Vicksburg Blues.
Yes, we post regularly. We have updates on our lineup, so that you can follow who's going to be at our concert on Fridays and Saturdays and our other programs. We do a lot of other work. So you can follow us on Vicksburg Blues on Facebook, and also go to our website.
We'd like to invite you to come back, and maybe we could also bring some of the artists. We could talk about what's going on there. We have a three-way conversation, and then have some performances, you know.
Would love that.
And are you getting interest from people in other parts of the world with your website, and, you know, as far as what you're doing
Oh,
there?
absolutely, absolutely.
Like what countries are you seeing interest?
Italy, France, Germany, Australia, Canada.
It's amazing.
Yeah, China.
It's probably
Japan.
one of our greatest cultural exports that we have here is blues. Isn't
Absolutely, absolutely. So for me to tell you that my specialty is cultural heritage tourism, do you kind of get a better idea of what that's about?
I really do. And will you come back soon?
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Shirley Waring, thank you for being with us tonight on Nightique, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time right here.
Bye.